Other person who's in the news this week as an obvious contender for the nomination is Gavin Newsom, who went on Sean Ryan's podcast and absolutely dissembled over the question of transition procedures and surgeries on minors as young as...
Gavin Newsom claims that the amount of hair gel a person can pack into a bottle seems to be a key indicator of leadership in today's world. He views California as a stage rather than a state, and he has positioned himself as the most glamorous governor in the country. It's obvious that Megyn Kelly is tired with the performance. She removes the polished fade to see a politician who views failure as a lifestyle brand and ineptitude as an accessory. Kelly portrays Newsom as a salesman who is suave, self-assured, and constantly pushing a product that breaks down the instant you take it out of the box, despite the fact that Newsom speaks like a visionary.
So he went from people who liked Gavin Newsom, liberals, saying, I have a very favorable opinion of him. At 46%, it fell to 30%. So Charlie's correct. He's hurting himself with his liberal base by doing these interviews of people like Charlie and Steve and Michael Savage. It's because the thing about Gavin Newsom is he's not very good at pushing back. So he's not going in there and doing battle with the Charlies and the Bannons of the world. He's somewhat obsequious.
Kelly's efforts don't end there. She delves deeply into Gavin Newsom's paradoxes. He presents himself as a progressive savior while presiding over one of the largest exoduses of people and businesses in modern American history. Like a sinking cruise ship, Silicon Valley billionaires, middle-class families, and small-town mom-and-pop stores are all leaving California. And why? The overall quality of life has declined, taxes have risen, and regulations have become increasingly burdensome under Newsom's so-called leadership. Kelly depicts a governor who is incapable of running the world's fifth largest economy, let alone a lemonade shop.
Over the last few years, I'm trying to understand as much as anyone else, whole pronoun thing, trying to understand all of that. But, that was like the hell, all that stuff. I get it.
Oh my God. First of all, his hands are flailing. He gets so nervous and he can't stop moving his hands, right? It's to tell I'm uncomfortable and I'm probably lying too. Hands above the midline moving can be.
Please click the bell symbol and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this video. Then there's his fixation on optics. Newsom is an actor, not a boss. He would stop to make sure the cameras captured his finest viewpoint, even in the midst of a fire with smoke billowing into the air. While their governor is concentrating on enhancing his reputation in anticipation of a dream run for the White House, Californians are fighting to keep their streets safe and the lights on. Kelly immediately targets that haughtiness. Kelly reveals the harsh fact that Newsom is a man preparing for the national stage while taking advantage of upheaval in his home state, despite his claims to be loyal to California.
37% said that the snippets harmed their perception of the governor. So in other words, 26% overall said it harmed their perception of him. And among liberals, 37% said it harmed my perception of the governor. Among those who have very favorable opinions of Gavin Newsom, he lost 6.
Just that. Kelly draws attention to a basic inconsistency in Newsom's leadership style, the disconnect between words and deeds. He exempted himself while demanding sacrifices from the public, demonstrating a discrepancy between his actions and the image he presents. The French Laundry episode turns into more than just one transgression. It represents a larger pattern of hypocrisy and entitlement. Kelly's criticism emphasizes that accountability, integrity, and setting a good example are more important for effective leadership than appearances. Californians are forced to make sense of the governor's well-groomed public image in light of the decisions he makes behind closed doors, raising concerns about whether his objectives actually reflect those of the people he leads.
He's smart to start this. And the reason he's smart to start it is because he has no muscles, Emily. None. He's a sinewy little weakling when it comes to arguing any of these issues, especially cultural issues, because he, like all liberals, has never had to do it. So now he's trying to get his training, which is smart on his part, and it would be smart on the part of conservatives to say no, because they declined to help him get in shape before the big bout. We're supposed to be helping Rocky, not Drago.
Kelly exposes a governor who is more concerned with appearances than results by removing the glossy exterior of Newsom's messaging. Newsom's activities amount to performative gestures, including his news conferences, photo ops, and token financing that do little to solve structural concerns, while California suffers real emergencies such as rising homelessness, obvious drug problems, and skyrocketing crime. Kelly's analysis highlights the disconnect between successful governance and political theater. She draws attention to a leadership style that puts appearances ahead of responsibility by demonstrating how actual communities suffer while the governor maintains his image, allowing Californians to deal with deteriorating circumstances with little significant state action.
Come on, man. I mean, I get it. Those are legit, period. The issue of age, and you know, as someone who's been so focused on LGBT and gay marriage, you know, the trans thing, I just like, I've been thinking about the pronouns. Yeah, that's how he answered that question, Rich. Are you okay with surgical procedures on an 8-year-old?
By placing the blame elsewhere, Republicans, Washington, even climate change, Newsom avoids failure. Kelly makes fun of his justifications and reminds him that true leaders take accountability. Instead, he struts on TV like a presidential hopeful, positioning himself as the Democrats' backup plan.
Very strange, because when you listen to him, you would think like he's a moderate, but he's not. On the trans stuff and virtually every other subject, he is as radical as they come. He is another Kamala Harris, but there's something about him. Maybe he's a people pleaser, a vintage politician. When he gets across from these are our war fighters. And truly, like the three I mentioned, these are war.
Kelly dismantles that act, demonstrating that America needs a leader who can deliver rather than a glamorous figure. His speeches overflow with cliques about vision and equity, yet Californians get only higher taxes, broken promises, and U-Hauls leaving the state. She reveals that he is a governor who uses tragedies to create stuff on Instagram.
California is these mealy-mouthed, kale-eating, broccoli-pushing, Birkenstock, whatever, wearing politicians who can't find another person fast enough to blame. My absolute favorite, though, is the fire chief. She's growing on me. When she's not focusing on her lesbianism, she's actually quite fierce. She is not going down without bringing Mayor Karen Bass with her. And who could blame her?
Just that. Kelly portrays Newsom as a politician who prioritizes show over content. His ostentatious suggestions and technical jargon are like stage props, intended to wow but ultimately ineffectual. While he cultivates a national image, the reality in California is stark. Businesses and individuals are fleeing, indicating a lack of trust in his leadership. Kelly emphasizes that responsibility and observable outcomes are necessary for effective governance, not merely charm or charisma. By revealing the disparity between Newsom's polished image and the state's real shortcomings, she demonstrates that even if he can perform as governor, the fallout from his poor leadership will extend well beyond Sacramento.
He would be so measured, and you're going to have that flailer with the hands and the stuttering and the come on, man, pulling the Joe Biden. Come on, man. It didn't work for Biden, and it's not going to work for Newsom. Like, I'm just seeing the runway of how the Republicans' chances are going to look. And right now I'm feeling good. Not necessarily about the midterms, but about the presidential race. Here's another thing. It's a little off point on the trans issue, but a great moment where Sean asked Gavin Newsom about why they were so able to very quickly clean up the city of San Francisco when Chinese President Xi Jinping came in 2020.
Just that. Kelly's criticism highlights the discrepancy between Newsom's persona and actual situation. The state's problems, homelessness, crime, and deteriorating infrastructure continue to worsen unchecked while he cultivates a national reputation of skill and charm. He is more of a performance than a problem solver since he prioritizes appearances over action. While actual problems deteriorate in the background, California, long a beacon of possibility, has turned into a stage for his polished speeches and well-groomed appearances. Kelly's point is clear: leadership demands results, not just presentation. Spending billions without producing significant results exposes the performance's hollowness. Although Newsom is very good at controlling his image, he is not managing the state that relies on him. California needs a governor, not a glossy cover, so the contrast couldn't be more striking.
Annoyed after, we ended our show on Thursday, was it? I don't know. Was it Thursday or Friday? About what's happening with the biological males out there. And this A.B. Fernandez, who is winning all the girls' medals, Hernandez. And I just did like a personal plea to people and got a lot of great feedback on it. So thank you for watching that. But then I took it to Twitter, and on X, I addressed Gavin Newsom personally. He follows me, so I tagged him. And I'm going to be honest, I begged him to please stop this for all the reasons stated on our YouTube feed. And he didn't get back to me. But I think
Kelly argues that Newsom treats crises as stages for self-promotion. He cuts ribbons, gives speeches, and disappears while problems worsen. Tesla, Oracle, and Hewlett-Packard are just a few of the companies that are running out from California. Kelly calls him a naive landlord who hikes rent, ignores mold, and then appears shocked when tenants vacate, making fun of his disbelief at each departure. She also criticizes his hypocrisy. He dined at the French Laundry without a mask, showing disdain for the very people he ruled, while families, children, and companies suffered under his strict lockdowns.
He feels the need to get their approval. That's how it feels. And he's getting excoriated by the left-wing press as a result. It's actually kind of amusing. We put together a budded soundbite. Take a listen here.
I thought that was one of the most inauthentic things I have seen Gavin Newsom do.
Wow.
I'm terribly,
so you don't believe in the let them hang themselves theory?
No, I'm terribly disappointed. I think you meet energy with energy. And what he did was he showed his pretty white teeth and his cute face and did nothing other than that. And I think it's
just that. Newsom is portrayed by Kelly as a man seeking global attention as his state is collapsing. He continues to prioritize appearances and self-promotion despite the fact that crime, taxes, and schools are all on the rise. The idea of him as president is nearly absurd because of California's wealth and resources, which only serve to highlight his shortcomings. Kelly emphasizes that ambition without accountability is ultimately meaningless by portraying him as a narcissist who is more focused on camera angles and appearance than genuine government.
We hear a lot about San Francisco and the homelessness and pooping on the road and all that kind of stuff, and it seemed like all of that was cleaned up when Xi came to town.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Complete bullshit.
That's complete bullshit.
I know folks say, oh, they're just cleaning up this place because all those fancy leaders are coming into town. That's true, because it's true.
I got to credit Morning Wire, my pals over the Morning Wire who put that together. Such a good...
Just that. Kelly removes the fade, revealing Newsom as a performing politician fixated on appearances rather than a visionary. Her criticism portrays him as the party-goer who never cleans up, putting national media attention ahead of real governing. A hollowed-out middle class, families escaping California, and escalating problems show the results of his conceit and poor leadership. What appeared to be charm and charisma is now perceived as hollow theatrics. By the time she is taken down, the narrative is debunked. Newsom is not a fearless leader influencing the future, but rather a governor with amazing hair and no accomplishments who uses his position as a launching pad at the expense of Californians.